I don't do these things lightly. I really think about such a title before I use it. I actually went to some groceries with my wife and came back and said to myself, man, that's the only word that fits. Guys, welcome to the channel, and let's watch SaltEMike's Why Star Citizen Continues to Fail to Deliver on Time.
So by now, everyone's heard the news. 4.0 and Pyro, they're not coming this year in Q3. Hopefully, they're going to release at some point in Q4 of this year, and this video is not going to
No, and he knows that they're not going to deliver in Q4.
harp on that issue specifically. I want to talk about why I think this continues to happen year after year. It is incredibly obvious, and they speak about it all the time.
A live environment in the middle of their development to run.
I hate doing this, but I have to. They don't talk about why they're doing this all the time. The reason why they're doing this is the reason we've talked about here so many times, which is it just fits the business model that they have that revolves around never developing anything much beyond what's legally minimal required and focusing on marketing and ship sales. The explanations that they have are not why they're doing these things. So that is the first disappointment I have here with SaltEMike, given that he has talked about why they do these things himself before. He's said it plenty of times why they do these things, and it's usually because it helps in terms of ship sales and monetization and making money. Now he's going with this line of, well, this is what they've been saying.
A live environment in the middle of game development.
In Star Citizen, because we're running a live environment in the middle of our development, because we are operating a live environment in the middle of our development, we are running a live environment in the middle of our attempt to make the game.
One of the weird challenges that are unique to Star Citizen.
It's always something like this. This is unique. This is so special. No other rules apply to us. We're taking 12, 14 years and still nothing even close. It's because we're so super special, right? This has never been done before. Something like this is impossible. We have a titanic task ahead of us.
Is that we're running a live environment in the middle of our development. Most of this stuff is done in private in any other game. By the time they open it up to the players,
Look at the words "in any other game." He's already implying something that is not true, that is dishonest, that there's no other game that continues developing once it's out there, which is simply not true. SaltEMike does address this at some point.
We're well along, and a lot of those big sweeping changes have been done. We have this continuous thing where, because we've run a live game environment since late 2015, November, December 2015, to this day here, it's these growing pains are experienced not just by us.
Growing pains is one of those trigger words, one of those keywords used very often by them.
Which is normal, but by our players, which is not. I see it from everybody, from good people, from the best people who struggle with this, and it's unfortunate, but it's normal. It's a part of our process here.
Running a live environment in the middle of their development is what has been getting in the way of this game's progress for years, probably since the release of Alpha 2.0. But Mike, many live service games do this. Yep, but most of them have stable live environments that can support their player base, while the focus of the dev team is on creating new content or reworking older content based on their players' feedback. Star Citizen does not have that stable environment. And yes, they touted for years about how much of a positive that running...
Whose fault is it that there's not even a stable environment so as to have people wait until they continue to... Whose fault is it, Mike? He admits that other games do it. Other games do what you just heard Jared say that no one else does but ourselves. No, there's other games that do it just fine. I mean, the perfect example is No Man's Sky, that started in a very low starting point. And it was still available. You could still play, call it crap, criticize it, laugh at the company. Little by little, you kept on playing, and those patches kept coming up, and it was better and better, and but it's not the same thing, because you can't have multiplayer there too. I mean, it's the same thing. You have a product, you have a game that people can play, and you're working on something else, And then when you have something new, you just release a new patch and people play that. It's not that complicated. Oh, you've never done... No, of course not. But the concept still applies. You have something, let's call it 3.17. Yeah, that's what we have. We will only release new stuff when it actually works. Oh, but we don't even have a stable environment. Okay, after 12 fucking years, maybe you should have had already a stable environment for people to play that still broken, like a little bit messy 3.17, 3.18, whatever. It is on you. It's not that you didn't have the money. It's not that you didn't have the people. You have way more money than you ever dreamed you would ever have. That is really the main problem. Okay? So this excuse of, oh, but they don't have a stable environment. That's bullshit. If you don't have a stable environment because you don't want to have a stable environment, and because this is yet one more thing that fits this narrative of, it's just a super early alpha. No, it's not. It's been 12 damn years. What are you even talking about? Are you fucking crazy? It's been 12 years and $700 million. It's just, you don't understand, normie, how this works. This is just very early alpha. This is just a teenager in his mom's basement trying shit out, and you're expecting this to be a AAA game? No, I'm expecting the giant-ass company that owns buildings, mansions, and yachts to actually have a stable game for people to play. Yes, of course, it's going to be bugs every once in a while. Not nearly the crap we are dealing with here, but the idea of not only not having that, but making what we had even worse simply because it fits the monetization model of time sink instead of content, because that's what happened all of this year. All of this year, we were like, what is this master modes crap? What are these shitty hangars? What is this cargo hauling far worse than it was before? No, I'm not better off having to move every single box like an idiot in the future. What is that? That's all just time sink. It's all just time sink because they don't make content for the game.
Their live environment allows them to throw things in a poor state simply to see how we react to it and adjust from there. I'm sure that has some value, but one has to argue the benefits are probably not outweighing the costs anymore. Now, if this hasn't gotten through yet, I'll give you some examples. The transit system has easily slowed this project down by multiple months in only the last year or so. Many Band-Aid fixes are put out until the proper rework is done for server meshing. But guess what's going on constantly right now in the 3.24 patch? Transit has been broken in so many patches, and then fixes have to go in.
Yeah,
not our fault, and it's not our fault. It's on them, and it's not even accidental that they do this. They do this so as to make sure you have excuses, like the one SaltEMike is given. This is why it's not progressing. No, they do it on purpose. They know they're not going. If you have to fix everything 100 million times over 10 years and everything is still broken, it's because that's your intention.
This technology touches on every subsystem in the game. So transit was busted. Stuff was persisting in the wrong locations. You couldn't log into the game because obviously with PES comes the
Let me know in the comments, do you guys understand what I'm saying? That it cannot possibly be just a massive coincidence and just a bunch of idiots that don't know how to make even basic things that function perfectly well in all other video games. Oh, it's just this weird tech that we're dealing with that we just can't figure out how it works. That's just an excuse. Let me know if you believe that. No, it's just this magic thing that computers do, that it breaks stuff.
New login flow to get players into the game, because we need to bring your items into a new database. So that entire system was also...
Oh, the database. The database bullshit. How many times have I read this, even from people that claim to be programmers, game developers? Oh, you don't understand how databases works. Really? Let me ask you one thing. Let me ask you, if Chris Roberts calls his bank and says, hey, do I still have 20, 50, 60, $100 million here? I'm going to be buying another yacht from these suckers. No, sir, Chris Roberts, Mr. Chris Roberts, you don't have any money here because we had to, you see, what happens, let me explain. What happens is that we had to reset our database because the data got corrupted, because things happen and bugs and database is not being stable. So you don't have any money in this bank anymore, and don't worry, get more money from your backers. Do you think that would fly for Chris Roberts or anyone else, for a bank, for an insurance company, for a game, for anything in the last 50 years? Of course not, because there's such a thing as backups. And if you don't know how to make a simple backup of assets and your players and what asset is assigned to each one, then you're either a complete moron or you're just pretending to be one, which is a lot worse, and that's what usually happens. And if you don't believe me, check in your permanent hangar. Your permanent hangar is not magical. It is a simple database that they actually keep. They don't erase it on purpose like they do with the one that you use in game. They keep the database, which is extremely simple. You have a list of players, and you have the assets that each one of those has assigned, and you copy that. You don't have a gremlin running around your servers taking notes. All of this happens instantly with all of your players. Yes, but there's like a lot of them. There's like thousands of players. Yes, thousands of players and thousands of assets can be assigned by modern computing in a matter of a fraction of a second. It's not even a thing. The idea that you believe for a second that there's a reason other than to instigate, promote, and push people towards buying new ships is because, no, they just have to clean everything. They have to, wipe everything. Chris Roberts just comes with gasoline, throws gas in the servers, and burns everything down, and starts with a new building. That's the only way you get rid of those bugs.
So as rocky to get in because there's a lot of cases to deal with, like timeouts if you have too many items.
Now that clip was from PES, and to resolve these problems, that requires what? Dev time. And to all the people who claim that 324 is not holding back 4.0, maybe it's not holding back the entire...
Requires dev time. Mike, it requires more. They haven't got enough time after 12 years. They don't have enough devs. They've been firing people. He knows this. Mike knows this. He knows that they've been firing people while still complaining that they don't have the manpower to do this titanic task that we have ahead of us.
Patch, but it's absolutely holding back the core tech features of that patch. They do not have different devs working on the live server solving issues while other devs are on the rework of that exact same feature. That would be a waste of time. Let's talk about the flight model, the constant need to balance because, well, maybe the marketing team continues to want to sell ships that dominate everyone, on top of having so many ships means members of the vehicle team are not working on taking the flight model out of a place where literally no one loves it right now to a place where hopefully...
Master mode is a weird one. It's a tricky one. On one hand, there's this probable thing of them wanting to make it super arcadey and then make it simple for people that don't even want to learn how to play. And that was funny because a lot of guys were like defending, they hadn't even played it, these White Knights were defending Master Modes without even using it. And then, oh yeah, it sucks. Or then, it's not really that bad. I don't even like flying. I've read those things in Spectrum. But it's a weird one because it's so terrible, so bad, that you have to wonder, did they even realize that they were pushing this so far that people, even in spite of their best intentions, could not possibly play this shit anymore with Master Modes, given how bad it is? Because I know that one of the conversations that went there for sure, this is just, hey, we'll make it this way. We'll make it so that you just see, this was actually said by CIG. Since we have such beautiful ships, it's a shame that you just fly by so fast. So you just see your ship and shoot at each other and not even fly. Okay, there's not gonna be any skill involved, speed, agility. No, just so this is something that actually pushes the very likely priority of selling more ships, by which you're just going to be trading DPS. You will need a big ass, and if you had played Master Modes, as terrible as it is, you know that for Master Modes, you need a big ship with a lot of shields and a lot of guns, because if not, you're fucked. There's no point in flying anything else. That's why everyone is going around with Corsairs and ballistic cannons, right? Any little ship, it used to be that you could be a somewhat happy player with an Aurora, with a little Titan. And I've said this so many times. You don't need more than that. Dude, $60, you get in there and you will have fun. Not the case anymore. So this is where I think that greed got so bad that they broke that nut. They just twisted so much torque on that thing that they fucked it up, just thinking that, oh, this is going to be pushing everyone to buy bigger and more expensive ships. I think that was a big mistake. I think they're realizing it now.
Someone does? And then missions. My God, missions.
Oh.
Not only are we dealing with locations, but with AI and the missions themselves constantly needing love. Then you have the idea of doing Xenothreat for the 400th time that needs support from that team every single time they run it. How is that mission refactor going? Maybe it's going really well, but there's no denying that some time has to have been taken out to focus on cargo missions or the new Blockade Runner event at a minimum. What about the rest of the missions in these patches too? Then, how about economy? We literally just had a patch last night stating that you can no longer salvage inside your hangar because of an exploit that only exists because of the...
You see what I mean? They just rushed towards any little bug that would allow you to make a little bit more money and maybe buy stuff in game. Those things get... When that's the case, look at what SaltEMike is saying about, oh, there's not enough developers, they're doing this, and they're busy with that, they're busy with this sort of thing. Well, all of a sudden, when there's a bug that you can make money in the game, that bug gets patched right away. There's no delays with those things. Whenever you can dupe, make more money, and make crazy money, in spite of themselves claiming this doesn't matter because it's all very early alpha and nothing here matters, well, those things, they patch immediately. Why? Because the business model. Hey, you're not supposed to make money in game. You're supposed to go to the website and buy with real money or ships.
Lack of the full and proper economy rework being in place. Dev time was spent on that. Even if it was 20 minutes, it's arguably a waste of time.
No, it's not, because it's about money. So they do those things because those are the things that matter. Making money is the only thing that matters for these people.
Last and probably the worst one, if you really think.
Remember when we were told... Yeah, that's
arguably
that's
a
a
waste
nice
of
one.
time. And the last and...
Remember when we were told another lie? Yes, you'll fix your own ship. You broke your ship, you'll fix it with your multi-tool. Oh man, that sounds actually awesome. Could you actually do that? No, it's just cosmetic. No, you're not going to be fixing a damn thing. Okay.
Probably the worst one, if you really think about it, long-term persistence. How many patches have they tried to resolve these issues? But because there are constant patches and supporting the previous ones, are they actually able to solve these issues properly in a time frame that's reasonable? I don't know, but so far nothing's been fixed. Now, obviously, I have to make some assumptions. They're kind of how many devs are working on certain things, but I don't think I've heard many arguments.
Oh, the good old excuse of not enough devs work. Don't they have enough money? Haven't we seen videos of them buying like toys for the office that cost thousands and thousands of dollars? Wasn't one of the guys that left recently actually pointing out, I'm pretty sure that was the case, that he was pointing out that the priorities that these people have, and look this up in Reddit, this former employee of them, was they waste thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars in office, making them like insane Disney offices, and firing people, and then claim there's not enough people to work on this thing. Which one is it? They have a fucking massive fortune on this thing.
Against this being an actual issue. To repeat the point at the start, even they recognize it as an issue. And the reason it is a bigger issue now than it was in the past, well, the game is much larger and there are more features that have to be maintained. The more the...
Why are you firing people? Why are you firing people if you need more people? Why are you firing people when, in theory, you should be hiring more people with a massive fortune that you have? Why is it that you haven't done this or figured all of this out for the last decade?
Game adds, the more they can't support it, and the more this will continue to happen, and the more difficult it will be to make the next feature. Let's use 324 as an...
Good old feature creep. Oh, there's so many features. Chris Roberts spends like all night wondering about how our sheet's gonna be blending and flexing. Yes, textiles. Yeah, that's just Chris Roberts obsessed with making this game so perfect that it never gets anywhere. The feature creep. Bullshit. That was a long time ago. I mean, those were maybe the freelancer times? No, this is a new Chris Roberts. He doesn't give a fuck about anything other than how much money he's getting out of us.
Example. This patch, if you include Evocati, is the longest patch that has ever run in the PTU. Guess what the second longest is? 323. Do you think this is going to change in 4.0? I don't. So something kind of has to give, right? So should CIG close the doors, tell us nothing, and stop putting out patches? That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, and I said this in the I was wrong.
Why not? I mean, really? I mean, Mike throws that as if it's some crazy idea, which it's completely stupid. Of course, no one is saying that they should close doors, like physically close everything until, yes, we'll get our shit together and now work. No. What you actually do is you let something like 3.17, 3.18, whatever it was that was still working, and people were somewhat happy. Oh, but there's nothing new here. Well, we have what we have, and it's okay. And yes, we should have had a lot of new content for the last 5 years now, and we're not seeing anything interesting. But hey, at least it does work. Now it doesn't even work. Now it's so bad that it's impossible. You could leave this as it is and spend the next couple years working on getting things on track, getting a stable game to continue working on from that point onwards. I mean, things that should have been done a decade ago. This should have been the starting point along, right? And we're still fucking around with, what do you want them to stop? No, we want them to stop doing what they're doing, which is only focusing on making money and selling crap, and actually do what they say they're supposed to be doing.
Video, which will be linked if you haven't caught that one yet, is this game is going to get a lot worse before it gets better. We know CIG knows this, but spending 9 months to get one patch out, that was on nobody's bingo card. I'm not going to sit here and...
It wasn't mine. Go back to the start of the year. People were laughing at me. They were calling me a hater. Go back January. You think you're gonna it's already gonna be released. I literally said this. Go back and watch the videos. Let's talk again when we actually see that. I know that it's in the patch release note. Let's actually talk again when you are actually in that fucking hangar of yours. Because if not, it's not here. And I'm telling you, it's not going to be here now. It's not going to be here in Q2. It's probably not going to be here in Q3. And when eventually they do launch it, it's going to be shit compared to what they promised it would be. Exactly. I could not have been more accurate in all of that, in all of my predictions. No, that's not the point. You know why I know this? Because I'm simply being honest about what is so obvious for anyone that has a couple of working eyeballs. They're not focusing on anything of those things. They're just focusing on the same thing that they only care, which is selling more ships. It's ridiculous at this point. There is nothing. The game is only getting worse compared to how it was a couple years ago. It's insanity. But if you don't see the trend, I mean, it took me a lot of time to realize, so that's what they're all about. Yeah, that's what they're all about. Just in the most greedy, nefarious possible way. They're just trying get any money they can out of you. Even sending letters to people, hey, buy me a Carrack or whatnot.
Tell anyone how to do their job. I think it is just really obvious that running and, more importantly, constantly supporting this live tier 0 experience is not working as well as it used to. Only CIG can answer this question. But how long are they spending pushing the game forward rather than fixing what is behind them? I think a lot more time this year was spent on fixing up things that are a lot less important than pushing the development past the milestone of...
This is where at least for me, this is where it gets shilly. Because he knows that's not true. Mike knows that's not true because Mike himself has said it numerous times. They only care about the money. It's all about the money for them. They only care about ship sales. Mike has said this countless times. Why is it that you are now saying this bullshit, which you know it's not true, which you know is one of the go-to lines for CIG, White Knights, for CIG themselves, for Jared, when, we just have, it's just so complex and so difficult and so different. There's nothing ever tried like all of that bullshit. You're now telling me that this, what we've seen all of this year, it's because they just have so much things to work on. That's not true at all. If it had been true, first of all, it's not. But if it had been, they wouldn't have been firing people. Then we would have seen actual things being fixed, which we have not. The same things that have been broken for years are still broken in this thing. The same things that have been broken forever. What is it that you've seen fixed? You're telling me that they spend a $700 million company, spend 9 months working on a game, and there's nothing to show for it, only making things worse? You know what they do? They get together in meetings and say, hey, if we make the flight model and combat model worse, it will force people to buy bigger ships. Okay, let's analyze that. Let's try things out. Let's test it. Let's see how people react. Let's see how stupid people are. Let's see how far we can push this. That's the thing they're spending time on. Why are they firing developers? Because they're not trying to develop a game. It cannot be more obvious. I mean, am I in crazy world that no one else sees this? I mean, Kimura sees it. SaltEMike saw it before this video. Why aren't you seeing it now, dude? What changed that you're not seeing what you saw years ago?
4.0 and on to 1.0. Yes, the goal has to be to get to what other games have, that stable live release. But we can't get there without these reworks that are clearly being blocked by the live experience, the tech that is needed, and the gameplay systems.
How is it that you cannot leave somewhat stable, 318? I mean, really? Do we have to go back to like being a blogger that fucked everything up and has to go with a save backup from months ago because everything is shit? You know, that kind of thing where, no, in a $700 million company, do that. Leave things as they were in 320 or 319 or whatever the hell it was, that we had a point in which, yeah, it is shit, but you know what? Some of us are still enjoying it, even this is all pointless. But you can fly around your ship, you can have an inventory and not go insane. Leave it at that. Leave it as it is. Do the minimal maintenance so as to not have that fall apart, and work on getting this done. And in a year, with the amount of money that you have and the amount of money you have to hire more people instead of firing people, which is what they've been doing, which just proves my point. You would not be firing people if you need them and you have the money for it. You would not be firing the people that you need to make this. Then do that. But again, the sad truth is that they only care about making money and they have no intention in making any new game content, just slowing down what exists.
To support it, CIG depends on word of mouth. CitizenCon is their #1 way to spread the word about the cool stuff they've done and some of the cool stuff they hope to do.
Cool stuff they've done and hope to do, come on.
The rest of what they do is hopefully to keep some of the people who saw that stuff around. If CIG was to give themselves a grade this year, I don't think they would give themselves a passing one. So why should we? Then you have this community of ours fighting other members of the community who are disappointed in the progress CIG is making. You should be able to express your frustrations and issues with the game, how it plays, how it functions, and absolutely how disappointed in the progress that you were hoping they would have this year, that they were hoping they would make this year. And yes, CIG absolutely set these expectations for themselves. There was nothing wrong with...
They don't set it for themselves. They set it for us. They set it for the sucker that believes them and thinks, oh man, MSR is fucking cool looking ship. Yeah, I'll buy it. Oh, a couple years later, my $250 ship is crap and useless. Oh, that's just the expectations that this man set for himself. Those high standards of him. It's not pure greed. It's not that he's fucking with us on purpose so as to force you to buy another fucking video game ship because he broke on purpose the one he sold you months ago. That is inexcusable, and Mike knows this. He knows it perfectly well. Why is he going with this fucking line of, oh, it's just a matter of inconvenient coincidence? No, it's not. It's all intentional.
Having high hopes for this year. With that being said, I'm not saying Star Citizen developers are bad, incompetent, or literally doing anything wrong, but doing the best they can with what they're given. The issue is what they're being asked to deliver on kind of something while being weighed down trying to maintain another thing that, quite frankly, isn't what
this is the Shilling. This is the Shilling. It's none of those things. It's why they hired a cell phone game marketing expert. They hired their top sales guy is a cell phone video game monetization expert. That's the people they hire, while they fire the people that would be doing what Mike is now suggesting or even outright saying is their real priority, but they just have too much job and too much work, and it's just too much for these poor people, these dreamers of CIG. Come on.
Everyone asked for. The Star Citizen we're playing today is literally the Star Citizen that nobody wants. Not a single person wants the game's development to stop today. Nobody wants this to be the final product. Not one dev or player is asking for this to be it.
I'm asking to be it when it was 319. Leave it at that. But yes, leave it at that and get working. If you actually want to make a video game, if you actually want to make the video game, that's what they would have done a couple years ago. I mean, that's when I got a little bit more into all of this. But hey, probably was before that. Probably should have done it before that. At whatever point in the past fucking 12 years that you have done, okay, we will not work on this live environment of ours that keep us always, we're never getting anywhere. No, stop that bullshit. Actually work on making the game, and then when you have something stable, you bring that stable platform for people to play, and you keep on working on patches like every fucking one else in this damn planet does, like Hello Games did, like everyone else does. You're just stupid? That's your excuse? You're stupid and you have too much money and you're just too much of a dreamy video game dreamer? That's the excuse? Or is it as simple as I'm saying, which is they only care about making money and that's it?
Can it be fun today? Absolutely. But 323 or...
It is not fun, Mike. It's not fun anymore. It stopped being fun with master modes. And now with this shit, it's not fun. Stop shilling the crap out of this. Go back to being the guy that called it as it was. Fun.
324 being fun isn't really the goal. Asking for this to be it. Can it be fun today? Absolutely. But 323 or 324 being fun isn't really the goal, is it? Can CIG just shut in and do what No Man's Sky did? No. But they have to start making some really tough...
Wait, why not? Why not? No Man's Sky at no point shut down everything. You could still play. It was not great, you could still play. You're telling me that they cannot have a couple different teams. One team, small minimal skeleton crew, keeps the live environment as it is. The PU, no more PTU, none of that bullshit. No, leaving the PU as it is. You're telling me. This is why I'm pissed. This is why Shilling. You're telling me that they cannot get a skeleton crew to keep up the PU as it was when this was somewhat. This is not fun anymore. Stop it. Stop with that crap. 324 is not gonna be fun. It's terrible. 323, what you have already is bad. No one wants to play this shit. It's dying. Right now, Star Citizen is dying, and unless they do something dramatic, I will just place my bet. This does not survive another year like this. Who the hell is enjoying this shit? I mean, I would like to see the numbers a year from now. I mean, I would color me surprised if a year from now, this company is still open in this condition. Who the hell would be spending any... I mean... I would honestly be, damn, there's a lot of stupid people with a lot of money, which is already the case, but fuck, it's not even entertaining anymore. It is painful. I haven't been able to play Star Citizen for months now. Since Master Modes, I tortured myself into trying to play. Now it's impossible. You cannot bring yourself to do it anymore with Master Modes. And this, and the hangars now that don't even work, and there's no point in setting anything because everything goes flying away everywhere. What are you talking about? And you're telling, oh, you cannot expect them to do what No Man, Hello? Yes, I do. Hello Games with a 40 people fucking crew did the unbelievable. Did an amazing job. Chris Roberts with $700 million and a massive company with a lot of resources and a lot of money. You're telling me they cannot sustain. You're telling me they cannot sustain a PU for people to play around and fly their ships. I mean, I'm not even saying stop the ship selling. I'm not even saying do that. I'm just saying don't be a fucking greedy pig and have no decency left whatsoever. Be a little bit greedy because I'm okay with that. I understand that's human nature. A little bit greedy, but focus on actually doing the game. No, they abandoned that idea completely. They have no one seriously working on delivering on any of the things that we're hearing here.
Decisions about what the product they call live is. And I've said this for years, that they can't keep leaving things to rot forever. And I want the experience to be as good as quickly as possible. But the more I think about it, some really tough decisions have to be made. I cannot see a world where CIG continues to do what they've been doing since 3.0 and ever succeed. Our funding will continue on the potential of the game if they're actually able to show it. They actively worked against that ability this year. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. This is just a random thought I had the other day while talking to someone, and I think that it's a really big problem that they face. And I hope they can figure out a way to solve it, because if not, I don't see us being able to play this mythical 1.0 they've been talking about. So please leave a comment and let me know what you think. Like the video if you liked it, and subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one.
There you go. That's SaltEMike, and this went on, but I'll upload it as it is because I think people need to hear this. It is not what Mike is saying here. It is what Mike said last year and a couple years ago. They only care about money. They only care about the ship sales. And he was right then. I don't know why he's doing this. I don't understand why he's making these excuses for them. Why is he making these excuses of, oh, but they just need to figure things out and understand what their priorities are, and yeah, but no, they can't do because the live environment, they could not do what Hello Games actually did. Well, yes, they could. They could easily do it. Leave the PU as it was when it was fun. It was stuck in mud, going nowhere, but it was fun, and you could play it. Was it something that people could keep on doing? I mean, we had been playing it for a couple years and still having more fun than you have now. So if you have to go that route, if you have to go like idiot 10-year-old that screwed everything up and has to go back to that floppy disk where he has the backup, well, I guess you would do that. But it's not stupid. It's not stupidity. It's not that they don't have enough employees. Again, if that would be the problem, they wouldn't be firing people while hiring people that only focus on more marketing and ship sales. They would be hiring people that they need instead of firing the ones that they have, right? That's common sense. That's logical, right? Instead of making it, and the people that are leaving the company are saying it themselves. They only care about these ship sales of theirs, and they will ride this to the ground. They will fucking beat the crap out of this dead horse until there's just bones and skin dried there in the sun, and there's Chris Roberts still, yeah, come on, more ship sales. That's the truth. That's the sad truth that I know, that Mike's know, that anyone with a little bit of honesty and understanding of how these things have been going for the last few years knows as well. See you next time.